don't enter battles you can't win. I should have taken Line 4's Sun Tzu styled advice. If you watch my recent Master Mode experience video, you'll understand. As you can probably guess, Relogic employee Line 4's was back on the official Terraria Discord, responding to players' questions and volunteering commentary of his own. So thank you, Line 4's. Tino wrote, does Relogic plan to abandon Terraria once 1.4.1 comes out, or hand it to another company, or what? Or is that redacted information as of yet? Line 4's answer, it's not abandoning the game, first of all. Whatever happened to being able to call a game finished? But it is intended to be finished after the final batch of hotfixes. We aren't handing it to another company. Pigeons But Not MS wrote, are you guys planning on making pyramid loot accessible if a pyramid didn't generate in the world? That's a pretty specific question, but Line 4's was there to answer it with, was unable to come up with a solution that was A, good, and B, approved by Red. And before everyone dumps a bunch of the most common suggestions for it ever, I've probably heard them all, and most did not pass B. Alright, so that was a more general answer actually that's pretty insightful. Obviously there are a lot of ideas floated around, and he's heard a lot, and they all have to get approved by Red or Redigit. Of course, the boss of Relogic and the creator of Terraria. One thing I like about Terraria is its informality. There's no design by committee on a lot of the stuff, and I think that answer reveals that. Redigit simply makes a call, and that's that. Gray wrote, quick question. I know you don't work with mobile, but will us mobile players be getting 1.4.1? Yeah, eventually. 1.4 Mobile's test build is well underway and pretty functional. Gray followed up with, will mobile be getting updated water mechanics? And the answer to that was, all of the water stuff is purely visual, and it has a performance impact, if I recall correctly. So mobile might not be able to support it. I mean, mobile typically runs at lower graphics than PC and console in general. Yeah, well, it still would be nice, right? Phones can be pretty powerful these days if you've got the money for the higher end ones, and having played a good bit of Terraria 1.4, I'll add for my part that I think it's not the water effects, I think it's the wind effects that are the more important visual upgrade, the most noticeable change for me. So hopefully those do come to the phone. Llama is definitely happier boy, that's one heck of a name, wrote, Line 4's when mobile 1.5? That's one heck of a question. And it got a very brief answer. Never. Well, it was worth asking, right? Gray was once again there with a question. Gray wrote, Line 4's, what will you be doing after Terraria is completely done? And the answer to that was, we haven't announced that yet. No, I'm not leaving the company, unless they surprise fire me. Heaven forbid, Line 4's, heaven forbid. Line 4's, as I said earlier, volunteered some information as well. He did write, I got a lot of stuff in this update I wanted. I don't want to say what didn't get in because it might make people sad. I wanted to remake the console exclusive pets and make them not hideous, then put them back in. We sort of did it with Werewolf anyway. Not the mobile ones though. And that's in keeping with what they've told us time and again. If you're not familiar, they've made it very clear that mobile exclusives from earlier versions are simply not coming back. They're done. So, there you go. Line 4's further added, I even sprited a baby zombie. And he shared these two adorable GIFs. Aren't those adorable little baby zombies? He went on to write, I also did my own version of the werewolf, but we didn't use it. And he shared these two images. Again, pretty adorable, right? As to these, he wrote, there were team members who thought the idea of a baby zombie was not really appropriate, and we had a different baby werewolf we used. have to say, Terraria has a lot of irreverent items and features. I'm surprised that it was a baby zombie of all things that was the line in the sand for them. Oh well. Workbench wrote, "What are you doing since Terraria has had its final update, Line 4s?" The answer, we're working on the last batch of stuff because we had to do the vanity winners and localization and some other stray stuff that was left over. We are getting close to done though. It's both a good day and a sad day when they're done with Terraria, but of course there's always the future and new projects, right? Relogic is a small team, so I'm sure they'll want a real rest once the final 1.4 patch gets released. But that being said, I really hope we don't have to wait too long before they finalize some sort of an idea for their next project, because I'm very inclined to buy whatever they put out. Anyway, moving along, I'll just say Etch wrote, "How many items will be added in Terraria 1.4.1? Line 4s wrote, "I can't tell you that. It's really a glorified hotfix update. It's not a lot. It's too big to be called a hotfix, but it's not as large as something like 1.3.4. Yeah, I have to say, at this point, it's mods that will be adding the fresh content, which is probably why they're promoting Tmod Loader so much. Next, Line 4s gave us some context for the organizational chart over at Relogic, for those who were curious. Responding to Aranika, he wrote, "There are a lot of people with creative input. Red and Senix have primary creative input, though the art team has a lot of input on visual design. Eurizor has a ton of influence over almost everything, and I'd say that Grox and I have a smaller amount of input, but still a decent amount. The rest of the team is always welcome to share input and direction when they are so inclined, but don't often take part in the day-to-day design stuff. And let's face it, there's no way the Relogic team could work with too many voices chiming in all the time." But next, Line 4s responded to a comment from Big Blue Chips and gave us some more information on the job layout over at Relogic. He wrote, "So that would be Redigit, the owner-president, Senix, vice president, day-to-day management and design, Eurizor, lead coder, Loki, the business and intercompany dealings officer, Safeman, the community manager, Krauno, lead artist, spriter, Jimarn, Jaxrud, spriter, Lazure, spriter, food barbarian, best friend. I'm not sure what that means. Grox, coder, Line 4s, noob level coding, and quality assurance." Oh, come on, Line 4s, don't sell yourself short. And then finally, Jax Jones writes, "Hey Line, is DR Studios going well with 1.4 so far?" Line 4's answer, "From what I've seen, yeah. DR Studios are amazing. They really are. If you're not familiar, and you probably are, but if you're not, DR Studios is the studio that's coding mobile 1.4. Relogic aren't actually doing it. It's DR Studios doing the work. I have to say, in any project, the right people can make a real difference. It doesn't matter what work you're doing. And on that note, that's all I've got this time. The State of the Game post for August should be out in a few days. Rest assured, I've got you guys covered. And so until next time.